just do it. Like, I'm the proof is in the pudding here, right? I'm not dead. I'm not like all slumped over to the side. Like,
Right,
I'm well, right? Sean said the same. He does fast as well. There's nothing wrong with him. So
right.
it's nothing. You're not the worst thing that can happen to you will not happen to you.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like the worst thing that you're probably thinking, like, if I don't eat, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
You are not gonna die.
Yes, I
You
love
know
that
what
you're
I'm
saying this. I
saying?
love
You are
this. Yeah.
not going to die. So that that's off the table. You know what I'm saying? So the other part is self-discipline.
Mm,
This is going to teach you so much self-discipline. If you can say no to what you put in your mouth every day, you the sky is the limit.
man, that's good.
Like,
This is what you can do about your health, a podcast about how you can make your body healthy, strong, fit, and inhospitable to disease. I'm Sean McClendon, your host. I'm a certified personal trainer, author, and self proclaimed health and fitness enthusiast. Thank you for joining me today. The information on this podcast is based on personal research, experience, and opinion, and is not meant to be a substitute for advice from a doctor or physician. You are advised to consult your doctor or physician before making any changes to your lifestyle. I'm excited about releasing this episode, y'all. I had the opportunity to talk to somebody I consider like a true inspiration to me, on various levels. Wayne Wealthy Woodard. If you know him, you know him. Wayne in my area is like a local entrepreneur superstar, at least in my opinion. But anyhow, he's an entrepreneur. He owns a few different businesses, including like a t-shirt business. Matter of fact, he helped to print this shirt. He actually helped me create this logo here. I got to give credit where credit is due. I told him what I wanted, and he helped design this. So I forgot about that. Kudos, Wayne. But anyhow, the reason why I interviewed him is because Wayne recently went on a 5-day water only fast, and he announced it on Facebook and actually had a whole group of people to join him, and which I thought was impressive. But I was impressed by the 5-day water fast in particular because one, I don't really hear people talk so much about water fasts anymore. Um, but then two, I've never been on a water fast that long. Now I regularly do 2-day water fasts. I try to do that monthly, and I've done 3-day water fast at least one time, but I've never done 5. And so I was impressed by that, especially how quickly he went about it. And so you'll see in the interview that this is not his first time doing that. He also is a regular water faster. Um, but then he talks about his experience and the benefits that he experienced and all those different type of things. So you really want to tune in, especially if you are somebody who sees this stuff about fasting, but you kind of reluctant, you kind of on the fence because you can't really see yourself doing without food. You need to listen to this episode. Let Wayne break it down for you. And just as a brief kind of like preface, fasting traditionally is going without food for a period of time, with the exception, of course, of water. And the purpose is usually spiritual or for cleansing, the body and those types of things. And it's a powerful experience, especially in a society like ours where we have been conditioned to eat multiple meals a day, which really is not necessary for our biology. And matter of fact, a lot of times it's actually problematic. But anyhow, I'm not going to go a whole lot into that because I really want you to listen to this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Wayne Woodard.
All right, all right, all right. So I'm here, with none other than Wayne Woodard, also known as Wayne Wealthy Woodard. I've known
right.
Wayne for a while. He is like an entrepreneur, a Renaissance entrepreneur. He does all kind of stuff. I want to list what he does, but I hope I don't miss anything. But I know that you, of course, have ambitious graphics, which you print, shirts and things like that, and you have ambitious rentals.
Mhm.
In the car rental business, got all kind of got a slingshot and all kind of stuff in your car lot and stuff. But
Right.
I'm sure there's other things. But first of all, welcome and kind of tell us a little bit about what you do on that end. I know this is health and fitness what we talk about here, but kind of tell us a little about yourself, man.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm Wayne Woodard, known as Wayne Wealthy Woodard, self-proclaimed, but you gotta claim it first before it
That's it.
happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. I moved to Macon maybe about 10 years ago for work with Geico. Got here, didn't really like the work environment too much. Great company, just the environment was different. So I decided to get into my entrepreneurial bag, started a t-shirt line, which transformed into a print company. During COVID, I discovered car rental business. I went ahead and got into that as well. And then shortly after that, I got a shared workspace because I seen the need in the market for it. Um, and so I got that. And so right now I'm pretty much juggling all three businesses. I have partners in all of them, so that helps. I'm not
Mm,
just me doing everything, so
right.
that helps. And yeah, I mean, pretty much that's me in a nutshell, kind of
Mm-hmm.
real quick.
Got you, got you. And I will say for those of y'all who listen to this, Wayne also has a podcast that he runs from
Yes.
his podcast studio, which I think you actually rent out too, don't you? Yep.
Yep,
So
yep,
so,
yep.
so
That's the shared workspace of the podcast studio. It has two podcast studios and a photography studio in it. So for sure.
wow, wow. So I'm saying that to say those of you who are listening who would like to know even more about Wayne from an entrepreneurial business person perspective, like definitely check out his podcast. I'm gonna link to that for sure. Um,
Awesome.
but yeah, so the reason why we're here is
Yeah.
because about maybe a week or so ago, I saw on Facebook that Wayne was embarking on a 5-day fast. Now, I'm not talking about, juice fast or just raw vegetables fast, which all that stuff is fine. I'm talking about like the traditional fast where you just drink water. And I was like, wow. From one On one point, I'm always glad when I see people doing fast and stuff like that in general, because if you listen to this podcast, you know that I'm all about fasting and things like that. But then two, because it was a 5-day water fast. Now, I have done, like, recently I've been doing a series of water fasts like about once a month. And those are 2 days. And the longest that I've done a water fast is 3. And I want to say that was a little over 10 years ago. But dude
Oh
was
man.
like, hey, I'm about to do a 5-day water fast. Who wants to join me? so
Yeah, yeah,
um
for sure.
so talk to us, man. So what inspired you to go on a 5-day water fast? Like, why, and why 5 days?
Great question. So like for me, originally I have to give most thanks to my sister because she had brought the water fast thing to me a while ago. She told me about doing a 3-day water fast, and she kind of had encouraged me to do one, and I was like, no, no, no. And then another homegirl of mine, she does fasting pretty often, so she kind of was like, well, why don't you do it with your sister? Like, you know what I mean, you'll have an accountability partner. It's not as bad as you think. And I'm like, she kind of started telling me some of the health benefits of it. And I was like, I mean, what do I have to lose? Right. So I embarked on that 3-day fast. And, went through it. It was rough for sure, especially the first day. It was really rough. Um, Went through it and I was like, okay, day two wasn't so bad. Day three, not too bad. I mean, it was a little rough on day three because I feel like we could see the finish line a little bit.
Oh
So it
yeah.
was just like, oh man, it's like now everything is sitting in. So I was like, okay, this is cool. So at that moment, that was probably around the beginning of the year. Um, so from then I was like, you know what? I think I should try this every month, at least a 3-day fast, because from what I understand doing some research is that the 3-day fast gives you the most benefit when it comes to like cell rejuvenation,
Mm,
and kind of resetting your body a little bit. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, let me go ahead and try to get the optimal amount of benefit from it. So let's at least do 3 days. So I want to say maybe in February or March, uh, I was doing the 3-day fast because I do it in the beginning of each month. I usually don't talk about it. But just something in my spirit, this particular 5 day one has said, yo, just post it on Facebook and just see if anybody will be interested in it, because you never know who is watching you, right? Like I find that a lot of times when I'm just out and about, people just like stop me and say, "Hey, man, I've been watching you do X, Y, Z." They may not interact on my post at all. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
see them. I don't even know that they have a Facebook necessarily. A lot of times, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll be seeing you." Boom, boom, boom. And so that had let me know, like, hey, people are seeing things that you're doing, and sometimes you doing something is going, or saying or letting people know that you're doing something may inspire or create an idea or thought for somebody else to go ahead and do the same,
Mm.
and or just to go ahead and do it. They probably already been thinking about it, did the
Mm-hmm.
research and everything. They just need that extra little push, and maybe me doing it or me saying something about it is that extra push for them to get started, right? So that's what made me do the post about this particular class. But prior to the 5 day one that I did before, I didn't say nothing to nobody about it. I set myself to do 3 days, and I said after that third day, if it felt good, I was gonna keep going and see if I could do 5. And I ended up making it to 5, and it wasn't bad at all. Still felt like a lot of energy, felt good. Uh, that was my part that I was worried about, is like the energy part. Like if I was gonna have energy, because like we said in the beginning of this podcast, I do a lot. I mean, running three businesses isn't for the lighthearted. It's a lot of running around, it's a lot of moving. So
Yeah.
I need my energy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was worried about, and I was able to make it through without a problem. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I could do it, right? Like it's one of those things that it's a 4 minute mile kind of situation.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? You looking at it, you hear about it, and it's like, oh man, I can never do that. Like that's impossible until you actually conquer it, and then you like, whoa, that was
Yeah.
nowhere near what I thought it would be. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
easily do this. So
Yeah.
embarking on this particular 5 day fast, I was like, I know I could do it, right? So it wasn't a fact of if it can happen or not, because I've already done it. So I felt confident also in encouraging others or creating a group and helping people through it, because it's something I already went through, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like I'm a huge component, I'm a huge fan, I mean huge advocate of like not telling people to do stuff you haven't done, right? Like don't tell
Mm-hmm.
me to do something and you never did it. Like you can't really instruct me to the fullest the full capacity, because you really don't know what
Right.
it's like to go through that thing,
That's
right?
good. That's
I mean,
good.
you could do all that research and hear other people's stories, which is fine, but really until you get in the mud and the dirt, you know what I
Mm.
mean? You really don't know what it's like. So I
Absolutely.
already had did a 5 day fast. So I'm like, okay, if I can I know I can encourage other people through it, because I remember my 5 day fast. Like I remember the day, each day was how I felt during that time. And
Mm-hmm.
mind you, I do a 3 day fast every month. So the three
Mm.
days is light work for me. I know what that's gonna look like. But those last 2 days,
Right,
you know,
right, right,
a
right.
little different. So
I love it.
I just yeah, so I just went ahead and just said forget it, and dove into it deep, and it was I think I posted the post at 10 o'clock, and by midnight, maybe 1 o'clock, we had almost 30 people inside of a group on Facebook.
Amazing.
Like
Amazing.
so that was just huge.
Man, so many things you said there that just awesome. Like going off the last thing you said, just the fact that you just never ever know, even you making some sort of significant step for your health or for anything for that matter. Like you say, other people probably have thought about that kind of stuff, and but they just didn't do it for whatever kind of reason. And so that's just such an amazing kind of thing, you taking that step, and you gave a lot of people the boldness to take a similar step. So that's cool. And then the other thing I wanted to say is I love how you said um, the stuff about how it's daunting before you actually first do it. Then once you finally do it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, light work, man. Come on now. And it's like that's so true. And it's one thing I find in health and fitness, being a trainer and whatnot. Like a lot of times it's that whole mountain molehill kind of concept. It's like people really don't know necessarily how, and I'll put quotes around it, but how easy some of this stuff is. Like, not to say that it's not going to be a challenge to your flesh, whether it's fasting or exercising or whatever, but like, you just got to understand that your flesh is going to put up a huge fight and it's going to make it huge. But once you make that decision and you go through it, you can kind of turn around and be like, okay, I did that. And actually, I could do that again. And like you said, you like, I can actually, go 2 more days, and
Yeah.
make this a 5-day thing. So I love it, man. So why did you specifically choose a water fast? Like, why didn't you choose like a different kind?
Um, Really, I mean, like, go back to my sister. She's the one that brought it to me, so I
Okay.
mean, that's what I went to. But now I'm actually one of the people from the group. Actually asked me to do an intermittent fast with her. And then during our eating period, we're only doing fruits and vegetables. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And this is actually a little more challenging than the water fast to me.
Hmm.
Um, because the fact that is like you're activating your digestive system and you're like trying to still find stuff to eat through a certain time. I just personally um feel like just it's cut and dry, right? Like you
Yeah.
know what you can't have nothing but water. There's no questioning, there's no
Yeah.
like let me read this, like can I have this? Can I have that? No, it's cut and dry. It's like water,
Yeah.
period. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
The biggest reason I've seen that most people struggle for years and years to lose weight is because of their diets. The truth is, adopting a healthy diet and learning how to maintain it for the long term is mandatory for successful weight loss. And it's the key difference between those who are successful and those who are not. With my group diet coaching, I guide you through key strategies to transform your diet into a healthy, fat burning diet. My coaching includes customized diet tips just for you, a weekly food journal review. Yes, I will review your food journal every week to make sure that you are on the right track. A weekly group coaching call where we all get together to discuss our progress, as well as access to my workout video library. So you have strength training workouts that will help you to sculpt your body while you lose weight. Go to patreon.com/Sean B2B Fitness and join my group diet coaching program today so that you can start being successful on your weight loss journey while transforming your overall health.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what
I
I'm
love it.
saying?
I love it. Yeah, I'm just gonna interject real quick. Like, I totally agree, and that's what I say too. Like, a lot of times, I know that we're kind of nervous to do just like a straight, like, traditional fast water only, but it is easier. You don't have to think about anything. You just know you're not gonna eat, so you don't have to like start rationalizing. Like, well, this is kind of this is kind of work. This is kind of still
Uh,
vegetables or whatever, and then you kind of start
exactly.
going down that slippery slope or whatever. And it kind of makes you think
Right.
about how sometimes in the past at churches that I've attended, I would do like a quote Daniel fast or whatever
Daniel
it was called,
fast.
a Daniel
Yeah.
fast, and a
Yeah.
lot of the time is spent on folks kind of going back and forth like, hey, can I eat this? Can I eat that? Can I do this, that,
Yeah.
this, that?
For sure.
And there's a way to make those kind of fasts successful for sure, if you're very, very strict and disciplined. But if you're not careful, yeah, you'll rationalize a whole lot and just get yourself,
Right.
especially if you're kind of like trying to get your mind maybe on other things during your fast, like spiritual or whatever, you'll be gonna be thinking about food all the time,
Right. Trying to figure
So
out what my next meal could be or will be
right,
during my
right.
time that I can eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's
real. That's real.
one of the crazy things that I've noticed about this fast specifically is the amount of time and money that we spend on food, right? Between
Absolutely.
figuring out what you're gonna eat, going shopping, preparing it, eating it, like all of that is so time consuming. Like during those 5 days of me not eating, all that time went towards something else, right?
Yes.
Like it went towards something more productive. It went towards something.
Uh-oh.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So during that time, you just pretty much spend all that eating and all that stuff. But during this
Mhm.
time for me, during the fast, I was able to go ahead and just pray and spend my time doing that, or just spend my time on my goals and my businesses and things like that. So it was real eye opening, just that part alone. So like I said, with this whole intermittent fasting thing, now I'm like thinking like, oh man, what can I eat? Like I know it's only fruits and vegetables, but like, okay, what fruit and what vegetable am I gonna get? I gotta go to the
Right.
store and get it. Like with the water,
Mhm.
like I was walking around with just I went to the store and bought 6 gallons of this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Just plain and
and that's
simple.
just all day. I'm walking around with it like it's a constant reminder of what I need to do and my dedication to myself. And like boom, I'm busting through it. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So the thing is for people listening to this, like definitely as you embark on fasting, just definitely understand kind of like the pros and cons of the different types of fast and whatnot. But yeah, water only fasting really does enable you to free your mind. I mean, because you don't have to think about all that stuff, like you say, food prep, food eating, and all that kind of stuff, you know. And I think that's a very, very important thing to point out. So my next question for you is, what was and you kind of touched on this a little bit, hardest part of the fast? I'll say this recently, and then the easiest part of the fast, if any, really.
Hardest part for me would have to say day one. Uh, Day one was definitely the hardest. Um, After that, I mean, almost answering that question as well. The rest of it was pretty easy. I had a little struggle day four, but day one was definitely my hardest day. And I feel like, and compliments to everyone that was in that group, because I feel like that was a level of accountability that I needed.
Oh
Just
yeah.
having other people that I was trying to help, you know, and I didn't want to, be a hypocrite, right?
Mm.
And be encouraging other people to do something and not make it through. So a lot of that was that. Same thing with day four. Like day four was a struggle for me, and that I leaned in on the group. As my kind of push to kind of go through it, and just having some people that went along with it. I had one of my good homeboys, he's like my brother. Like he always does a fast with me, so what I mean? And I talk to him every day. He's a business partner of mine as well. So like I'm like, bro, I mean? It's rough. He like, yeah, I know. It's rough for me too. So we going through it together. So
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend, if you can, anybody that's interested in fasting, to try to find someone or a group of people that you willing to go through that journey with you. Because it's always easier when you band together than, you walking out that journey alone. Because I
Hmm.
mean, we both leaned on each other in times of need. Like, hey, bro, I need you to pray for me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, man. Hey,
it's
it's
rough
getting
right
rough.
now.
Yeah.
Like, and then you might like, for both of us, we live in separate households where everybody else is in fasting. So
Right.
you
Oh
got
Lord.
food
Yeah.
being cooked.
Yeah.
People, doing everything else around you. You come into a house and it's smelling delicious.
Absolutely.
Like, it's hard, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna need, I mean, if you can get your whole house on board,
Right.
that'd be better. Cause I think the 3 day fast, sometimes the household will jump on board, everyone outside the kids. But
Hmm.
so that makes it a little easier. But this 5 day one, I was in a house on the island by
Lord have
myself. But
mercy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I said that was my hard and easy.
Yeah, that's real, man. Yeah, I know whenever I fast here, you know, like a lot of times I'm actually in the kitchen helping to prepare the food that I'm not going to eat. You know, trying to
Right.
help, you know, my wife, you know, to prepare the food for them and the kids and all that kind of stuff. And so it's like on one hand, I'm kind of like, well, I know I'm not gonna eat it, you know, so just like it is what it is. But it's like
Right.
you do be kind of thinking about it though, when you kind of
Yeah, it's
stirring
tempting.
the stuff and all this stuff. It's like, Lord have
Just a
mercy,
little
man.
taste. Just a little.
Bro, that's all I gotta do. That wouldn't hurt, would it? So
That's
yeah,
it.
man.
Yeah, man.
Man, it's real out here, man. But yeah, all right. So did you exercise at all during the fast?
Yes, I actually exercised 3 out of the 5 days of the fast.
Wow.
So I have a
Wow.
personal trainer, Larry Lynn,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. So I had told him my first day on the fast that that's what I was doing. And he jokingly said to me, like, hey, I mean, that was on you that you decided to go on the fast. That's not my problem. I was like,
Oh, I love
hey,
it,
bro,
man.
I'm
That's
not
awesome.
making no excuses. Let's be clear. I'm not making an excuse, but I just want you to know if I pass out in here, you
Right.
know
You know
why I
why.
passed out. But don't I ain't saying like that to be, take it easy on me. I'm just gonna
Right.
let you know
Right.
I might be a little slow or
Yeah.
than normal, and I mean I might pass out in this joint, but it's nothing health related per se. It's
Hmm.
because I ain't got nothing in me.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
but like, thankfully for him, he adjusted my workout so where it was a little lighter than normal, but still, still productive workouts, still a lot of the same stuff that we normally do, just a slightly less reps.
Hmm.
So went through that, and like I said, amazingly, like what the one I guess stereotype or I guess thing that people think about fast that you don't have no energy. Like I still had so much energy. I went and worked out in the middle of the day and still was able to kind of go through my day without any problem. Now it was a few days I will say that I was a little bit lower on energy,
Hmm.
but I was still able to go through a workout and through my day without a problem. I just pretty much caught it a night early on a
Yeah.
couple of those days. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just to kind of get a little more rest. And I mean, at that point, my day is over. Ain't nothing else to do but eat. So to
Hmm.
kill that
Right.
temptation, just go
Go
to
on to
sleep.
bed. Yeah, 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 yeah. I do the same thing, man. Exactly. It's like, man, why am I up, man? Let me just go and get me some.
Right.
I need an extra sleep anyway, so let me just go and turn it in.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So what was I gonna say? Uh yeah, the thing is, like you talk about with the whole energy thing, I know that there's a process because just like you said, you do a lot of research into like fasting and what happens. I do as well. And like I know that there's like a process where your body kind of starts to switch over from the usual was it glucose and all that stuff that it normally
Glucose.
gets from the carbs we eat
Right.
to the
Fat.
fat, mobilizing those fat stores. And so there is a process there where it's not getting that quick energy, but it starts to go over to the fat. And the
And
thing that
ketosis.
yeah, ketosis exactly, starting to use those ketones and all that stuff. And the thing is, like, what it made me think of, even though this is not how our biology works, it kind of made me think about how it is with like hibernating animals, bears
Mm.
and a lot of other like them, like, literally they eat all this food and they go into hibernation and their body lives off of their fat. But what we do a lot of times is we stay in fat gain mode because we're constantly eating all these sugars and carbs and things like that. And so like we literally never give our bodies a chance to kind of tap into our fat stores unless you're like very, very strategic with the way that you eat. But
Right.
however, and then of course your activity levels too. But like I just thought about the fact that when you fast, especially a water fast, like it allows you to mobilize that fat storage that you've been holding on to for a while and start to use that more so as like a primary fuel source rather than the carbs and stuff you're used to eating. So there is a little kind of like you say, maybe some energy kind of like, okay, I feel a little weak here. But like eventually
Right.
your body, like you said, you kind of was still straight, because your body, I think, kind of was starting to get used to using that other fuel and whatnot. So it is amazing how all that kind of stuff works. So anyway,
Nah, for
um,
sure. I mean, I learned
so
a lot
go
about
ahead.
it from doing the keto diet, just
Okay, yeah.
throughout the years. So I kind of got familiar with the whole, your body kind of making that switch
Right, right, right,
for you.
right.
So, but yeah,
Hmm.
this is just a way to really like kickstart it
Absolutely.
right away. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah,
so for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Right, exactly. I'm glad you mentioned keto diet because yeah, exactly. Your body will switch over there because you're more so focusing on like the protein and maybe what like fats and things like that. And so it has to kind of switch
Right.
over. But yeah, water fasting definitely kind of like really kind of brings into that mode probably pretty quickly or probably a little quicker. Um, that type of thing. So what kind of benefits do you perceive that you received from the fast? Like how did you feel like
Um,
and all that kind of stuff?
well, like I was saying before, like I had a lot more energy than I thought I would throughout the fast. Just a couple of days where I was a little lower on energy, but it was later in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But most days I woke up full of energy, like surprisingly better than days that I would wake up that I would eat. So that was crazy. I got better sleep. Um,
Mm.
I wasn't, from what I heard, I wasn't snoring nowhere near as much. So that was a good thing.
Right, right.
So I mean, people around me was pretty excited about that. But I had mental clarity. Like I was able to kind of really think through things a lot more clear and kind of get to certain decisions a lot faster. um you know,
Mm.
the spiritual benefit with, you know, getting closer with God, like whenever you having those hunger pains, whenever they come, just saying like, oh, let's sit down and pray. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're
Mm-hmm.
not praying as often whenever you just going through your regular day to day. At least I won't say everyone, but at least for me, I wasn't. So this just is like a physical reminder, like, hey, pray. Like as soon as you
Mm-hmm.
start feeling that, hey, pray. Go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
start praying. Like pray for this, for you to be able to go through this. And then just while you here, go ahead and start praying for other stuff, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
praying for your family, pray for your business, pray for, you know, the world. So
Mm-hmm.
like boom, that um I didn't get on the scale at all. So I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
much weight I actually lost. I know my homeboy, he lost about 10 to 12 pounds.
Wow.
That
In
he
five
actually,
days.
just in 5 days, that he wasn't doing any exercising at all. He was just doing the water fast. That was it. And he lost about 5 to 12 pounds, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I know I lost my gut. Like I had
Mm.
like a little gut that, you know what I'm saying, I was trying to work on, just going to the gym. And I know through this 5 days that just pretty much kind of went down.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was good. It helped, I want to say strength, just my appetite, because now I'm not like, my eyes is way bigger than my stomach at this point. So like I'll get full before I can like finish what I would normally finish as far as
Absolutely.
serving size.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
the fast definitely helped with like shrinking my stomach, or, you know, contracting it back to, I guess, what it should be, normal size.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so it was tons of benefits, tons.
So did you notice a difference in your like your level of like cravings and stuff like that? Of course, I don't know what your cravings for different things were before, but did you notice anything different
Um,
with like that?
I want to say like I was craving stuff more
Mm.
at that point. Now that, well, I guess technically now I can't have it because I'm still going through another like diet fast
Mm-hmm.
type situation.
Mm-hmm.
But like now that I'm out of it, even though I was craving those things while I was in it, I'm not like, so, oh, I'm pressed to go get them, right?
Yeah.
Because like for me now, it's like, man, I was able to get all of these results without those things. Like, like, do I really like? I
Right.
want them, but do I need them? Right.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And like where I am now, do I like this version of me in comparison to the version of me whenever I was on those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the sugars, the, you know what I mean, excessive eating, you know, all of that. Like I really don't feel the need to, a lot of the stuff I was doing, you know what I mean? A lot of stuff I was eating and stuff like that. Like one of the eye-opening things, this might be a little TMI, but whenever so our last meal before we went on the fast was like steak. We had
Mm-hmm.
like a steak dinner from a amazing restaurant. If you get a chance to check it out, it's called Third and Cherry, right on the
Okay.
corner of Third and Cherry.
Uh-huh.
Great food. So we went there and treated ourselves a nice little steak dinner before we went on our fast. And typically, like I said, I do fast um, for this whole year. So typically, after the first day, I'm usually like my system is usually cleaned out, so I'm no longer having bowel movements.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I did notice this particular fast, like on the third day, I still had a bowel movement, and it was primarily because of the beef.
Mm-hmm.
So like you know how they say like beef stays in your system a lot longer than other things. Like this was a clear indication of that because normally I mean I usually do turkey and chicken and then like seafood. Primarily,
Mm-hmm.
I usually kind of stay away from beef. I do a little pork here and there, but that's more so like bacon, if
Mm-hmm.
anything. But this is my first time like just going on it right after beef, and this is the only time that I've had a bowel movement on day three. Usually after day one, I'm cleared out. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing, nothing going on. And that really just threw me for a loop. So now my relationship with beef is a little more like, I don't know if I really want to deal with beef all like that anymore.
Mm, mm. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. The thing is, like, yeah, that's one of the main things I love about fasting, like the effect that it has on the way you think about food. Like you said, uh, might still have a desire for some things, but you're more calculated with it. You're more able to be like,
Hmm.
okay, so like I know how I feel now. I know how this might make me feel, and so then you can go from there. And I think that's something specifically that fasting does. And no doubt, man, like with the whole like bowel stuff or whatever, like definitely there's a difference. A lot of times it just kind of like just shuts down because there's nothing coming through the pipeline, so to speak. And
Right, right.
but yeah, it's very interesting the stuff with beef. It makes me think about I remember hearing about James Brown, like apparently like, they talked about how he was known for eating like a whole lot of steaks and stuff like that. And they were talking about how he had a lot of just sludge and stuff in his I guess in his colon or whatever, just from eating all that
Mm,
steak with it taking so long to digest, and
right.
so yeah, nothing wrong, of course, with having like a good quality, tasty steak and everything, but like, just it being in moderation and stuff. If I'm honest, I need to kind of like I haven't had steak in a while, but I've been eating ground beef relatively often. But you kind of making me think, okay, kind of taper back a little bit, Sean. Taper back a little bit.
Yeah, and I usually like I had made a switch from like ground beef a while ago, so now I just kind of do ground turkey. Like
Oh,
anytime a recipe calls for ground beef, I automatically go ground turkey. Need a little bit more seasoning, but you really don't miss much from the meal that you
yeah.
having, right?
Hmm.
With the ground beef because it has a particular taste, but not so much where it's like, oh my God, it's so noticeable
Yeah.
and compare because like you think about most of the things you have with ground beef, it's usually a lot of other things, a lot of components around it.
Right.
Like same thing with ground turkey. Like you're gonna still have those same components around it, so it's still gonna have a similar taste, but it's just kind of way healthier for you, processed a lot better. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just kind of like the only thing that I haven't like really like only time I really mess up is like a cheesesteak, like a steak meat for like a cheesesteak or
Yeah.
uh, like an actual steak. You know what I'm saying? And I don't eat those often. And
Hmm.
then even with the cheesesteak, I usually do like a chicken Philly opposed to a steak
Real
Philly.
estate feeling. Yeah.
So I still get the same feel, you know what I mean? Same kind of taste for the most part, but opposed to it being the beef is chicken.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I have to kind of start getting more into that. I mostly eat like maybe beef and chicken, and that's pretty. I mean, of course, some fish sometimes too, but like here lately, I've been allowing myself to have a little bit more beef than I would normally. So yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of start pulling that turkey, ground turkey back out. So we're almost done here, but I had a couple more questions. Like,
Sure.
how did you come off the fast?
So I had a at Publix, they actually carry they you know how those like protein shakes, they're like small, like a few ounces. They actually had that of beef bone broth.
Oh, good, yeah.
So yeah, so I took one of those and warmed that up, drunk that, and then I had like a cup of fruit after that. And then that's kind of how I broke my fast. And then shortly after that, then I had a like taco mix. What it was like fajita taco type mix, but it was like chicken, onions and peppers, and then like a cheese sauce,
Mm-hmm.
like some salsa too. But that was it. It was no rice and no. I didn't actually eat it in tortilla. Just kind of had the
Cool
vegetables and
stuff.
chicken and cheese and all that stuff like by itself. But that
Cool.
was like, but before I ate that, before I put that on my stomach, I did the beef broth first to kind of reactivate my digestive system a little bit, and then the fresh fruit to kind of give it a fresh fruit as a
Right.
base on my stomach. That's the first thing that my stomach sees is something that it can actually soak some nutrients out of, and then I had this junk.
I got you. Yeah. Man, true story. One time I was going to my parents' church at the time. I was probably in college, and we did a like a 1 day fast, and it culminated at church. It was like for a prayer service or something like that. And then afterwards, some of us went out to eat, and we went to like Cracker Barrel or something. And man, I did not, even though of course it wasn't a 5 day, it was a 1 day. I was absolutely ridiculous. I acted like I lost my mind, man. You know how they bring out like cornbread and biscuits and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Man, like I think before I even ate my food good, I had like 4 or 5 biscuits, man. 4 or 5
Woo.
biscuits and jelly. And I was like, I think because the fast was kind of short,
Yeah.
it didn't really affect me as much, from a digestive point of perspective, even though it was unwise. But more than anything, I just felt convicted. I felt like you should have known better than doing like that. Like, why did you wouldn't even do that on a normal day. So I
Right.
think the thing is kind of like what you were saying. Like a lot of times during the fast, instead of at that time praying and really kind of like I occupy myself otherwise, I kept on thinking about what I wanted to eat. That's what I kept on thinking about.
Right.
And so I kind of blew it from there, but thankfully I haven't done anything like that again since. But I think it's important for you to have mentioned how you broke the fast, because especially with the fast being as long as it was, it can actually be um detrimental to like just kind
For
of go
sure.
in and kind of go ham and all that kind of stuff on all kind of bad food. So
You can get
like,
sick, man. I done said a lot of reason when was doing my research on it. Like I seen like a lot of stuff with people saying like, yo, they broke it just eating regular junk food or just the stuff that they were craving. That's not necessarily healthy, and they got sick. I actually my sister, she did it like on one of our 3 day fasts. She
mm,
had broke her fast with something, some BS. And like for sure that whole day, she was sick, throwing up, like throwing the stuff back up. So
mm.
like that for me was like clear like okay, well I know I need to walk myself into it. Like I said, like it's one thing to see somebody else doing it, but if you're doing it yourself or you gotta get firsthand experience with somebody that you know and can touch that went through something, then that's a whole nother ball game, right? It was
Right,
like, oh
right.
shoot, I seen her sick, I seen her throw up. This is what happened. 1 + 1 = 2. I'm not doing
Right.
it.
Right, exactly. Plain and simple. No other evidence needed, man. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
it. I love it. So, all right, so last question, man. So obviously you had a lot of people join you with the fast, which I think was just incredible. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
What and then there might be people watching who are now considering. So what advice, based on your experience with fasting as long as you fasted, what advice would you give others who are considering it now, and people who in particular are scared to fast?
Mine is first and foremost, just do it. Like Nike, just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Like, well, obviously, well, first I would say this. Because we did have one of the ladies inside the group who had she takes a medication that requires her to eat. So,
Oh yeah.
consult your physician. Make sure that's something that you can do, especially if you have health issues, or you're on medication and things like that. Just make sure that you first and foremost you want to be healthy, right? You want to make sure you're doing stuff that makes sense for your health. So find that out, right? And once that's out of the way, then if that's not you, just do it. Like I'm the proof is in the pudding here, right? I'm not dead. I'm not like all plumped over to the side. Like
Right.
I'm well, right? Sean said the same. He does fast as well. It's nothing wrong with him. So
Right.
it's nothing. You're not the worst thing that can happen to you will not happen to you. So you know what I'm saying? Like the worst thing that you're probably thinking, like, if I don't eat, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
You are not gonna die.
Yes. I love
You know
that
what
you're
I'm
saying this. I
saying?
love
You are
this. Yeah.
not going to die. So that's off the table. You know what I'm saying? So the other part is self-discipline.
Mm.
This is going to teach you so much self-discipline. If you can say no to what you put in your mouth every day, the sky is the limit.
Man, that's good.
Like you can achieve so many goals and dreams and aspirations that you have. Like any mountain that you want to climb, you will be able to climb it if you just take the same practice, the same principles and the same energy and the same accountability as you use for going through this fast. If you apply that same energy towards whatever you want to do, whatever you want to accomplish, you will be able to do it with no problem. Like that's one of my main benefits of this fast for me. Is that like, yo, if I can take a task that I do daily, multiple times a day, and I say I'm not doing it, and I'm submerging myself. Like I was going out to restaurants, bro, like going out to eat with people because like I'm a
Mm.
like one of my brothers, he was like, yo, um, we had a friend that was going through like he was trying to stop drinking alcohol, right?
Mm.
And so he was avoiding going to the bars or being around events and stuff that had alcohol, which if that's a thing, then you have to kind of avoid that.
Right.
But
Right.
one of the things that he said to me that always stuck with me was, yo, you can't avoid, like avoiding it is not really controlling it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like the true control is if you can be around it and say no. So
Right.
that's how
Yeah,
you
that's a
know
good
you have the
point.
ultimate power over it. So that always stuck with me. So I now, like, whenever I'm going through or if I'm avoiding something or I'm not doing something, I want to put myself in it because I want to
Mm.
see how much self control do I really have.
Yeah.
If am I actually having self control or am I avoiding it? Because it's two different things, right? Like
Yeah.
it's easy to say no when it's not around, but is it still easy to say no if it's right in front of your face?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
the ultimate self-control, right? It's like, oh, I'm saying no, it is right here and I have access to it right away, right now. I can get it if I want it, but I'm
Wow.
not because
Wow.
I'm controlling the power, right? So
Wow.
that right there, if nothing else from the whole, like even if you don't care about the health benefits, if you don't care about, I mean, the money you save, right? I
Mm.
save so much
Right.
money from not eating for 5 days. I mean, I'm talking like I'm eating $20 easily every time I eat. So that's anywhere
Yeah.
from $20 to $60 a day on food.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's 100 plus a day. I mean, 100
Mm-hmm.
plus dollars that I saved just
Over the
during that
whole
five
thing.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like if that wasn't encouraging enough for you, if the health isn't your thing, the money may be it. If the money wasn't your thing, maybe the motivation is. You know what I'm saying? If it's not that, then you like the longevity. Like I'm sure this has you can do research. It's adding
Right.
years to your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so
Yeah.
like it's just so many benefits and just find the benefit that really speaks the most to you and hold on to that.
Hey, your sound went out. Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, there it is.
So do what you can and it just progressively go further, like,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. Like don't wait though. If
Yeah.
you think it, do it, and then somebody else that you can get that will kind of help you with it, you know what I mean, like that'll be willing to go on the journey with you because it will make it so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it, man. Like you said, if you're thinking about it, do it. That's the impression I got from when I saw your post on Facebook. It just kind of came up, and like thankfully a lot of people actually, when you posted it, they jumped on. And so that shows
Right.
that they actually did exactly what you were just talking about. Don't put too much thought into it. Just do it. Just go ahead and get into it. Like you said, you and die. I haven't died. And it's like matter of fact, it's like, matter of fact, it's like, yeah, health is enhanced, and you feel like you feel like you can do other stuff. Like you feel like you
Yeah.
have more power over yourself, over your flesh and whatnot. And you almost can't really put like a dollar amount on that because it's like you have
Not at all.
autonomy. You know what I mean? You have autonomy over yourself, and you see that you do. So
Hmm.
so that's good, man. That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, yeah, man. I'm gonna let you go, man. This has been like really good. I can't wait to release this, and I appreciate your time, man. And oh yeah, but before you go, tell folks where they can reach you and all that kind of stuff.
Oh man, appreciate it. Well, first before I do that, I want to thank you too, because like you reached out right when we did the group and was like, bro, like proud of you. You know what I'm saying? So that was so encouraging for me because I know, this is your arena, this is your lane. So for you to say like, yo, kudos, I'm like, all right, perfect. I'm in the right space there. So and thank you for even like coming in the group and sharing tidbits and nuggets and kind of encouraging people through the process. So thank you so much. And then thank you for allowing me to be on your platform as well and sharing, my story with your people. So appreciate you.
Absolutely.
But again, I'm Wayne Wealthy Woodard on Facebook, CEO Wayne Wealthy on Instagram. If you need any kind of branding, graphic design, t-shirt printing, or apparel printing, Ambitious Graphics is the name of my company. We're located at 371 3rd Street, downtown Macon. So you come pull up on us. We'd love to help you with, getting your apparel needs in order, or any kind of branding as far as logos, business cards, flyers, any of that type stuff. I also run a rental car business called Ambitious Rentals. So any kind of rental cars you need, we have a fleet of over 40 vehicles, anything from a Honda Civic to Teslas to pickup trucks to slingshots. We got, kind of anything that you need if you want to ride for a while or in style, as my one of my partners say, we got what you need. And then if you're interested in podcasting or if you're a photographer who needs a space, please reach out to us at imagine584.com. You can book a tour on the site and we can show you our workspace. So it's basically a space where you can kind of just come meet your clients, work out of. But we also have two podcast studios and a photography studio in there that doubles as a meeting space that also can be in an event space or a place that you can do workshops. So we would love for you to come tour the space. All you do is go on the website, click schedule a tour, pick a date and a time, and we'd love to show it to you and kind of answer any questions you might have. So that's me in a nutshell. If you got any questions or anything in my wheelhouse, please inbox me. I'm an open book. Don't be afraid. I don't bite. Even if I was on the water fast, I won't bite.
Right.
But yeah, man, like that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, folks. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard everything. This is Wayne Woodard. He survived this 5-day fast and other fasts as well.
Yes,
So,
sir.
hopefully you guys will be commenting on this on YouTube or wherever, talking about your fast. Okay. Anyhow, man, it's been good, man. I appreciate you, man.
All right, so that was my interview with Wayne Woodard. I hope you were inspired like I was, man. And so I'm not going to do a whole lot of recap. I think that this episode really and truly spoke for itself. But one thing I do want to say is something that he kind of alluded to, which was, it's a lot of you who are out there. You may have been convinced even before you heard about Wayne's story that fasting is something that you need to do, but you've kind of made it a big thing in your mind. You've already told yourself that you can't do it. You've already convinced yourself of some limitation you had that prevents you from doing that. Now, I will say, just like he said, you always got to check with your doctor or physician, especially if you take medication or you have some other health problems, because fasting can be pretty problematic if you have something, going on. But that said, you've limited in your mind what you can and can't do. You've limited that. And so what you need to understand is, like I always say, it's like either you do it or you don't. The decision itself to make a decision is not hard. what you're grappling with is this flesh that has told you for a long that's held you in this place for a long time as a place of um unhealthiness, a place of lack of thriving and whatnot. So you got to understand, you can do it. You can. You just been used to limiting yourself by the way that you think. So, you know, Wayne just up and started doing this thing. Sure, there were some feelings that came along with it, of discomfort and whatnot. But one thing we tend to be afraid of a lot of times in our society is discomfort. But it turns out that discomfort often is the pathway to getting more out of life. And that's for sure true in many ways in regard to your health. So I just want to challenge you, and I really hope that some of you actually will think about fasting as a result of this podcast. If you do, leave a comment. Leave a comment about what this podcast meant to you, and what you are going to do different for your health as a result. Okay. All right. So that's it for this episode of what you can do about your health. If you found it helpful, and I invite you to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you found a podcast, feel free to leave a comment, as I said. And that's pretty much it. Always remember, your doctor is not responsible for your health. You are. God bless you. If you like this content, you might also be interested in one of my books. Learn how you can take steps literally today to successfully manage, control, and overcome common issues such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and belly fat. It's all about putting power back in your hands to improve your own health. Get your book copy today by the links in the description or by visiting SeanMcClennan.com/books. Also, don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe, and join my email list at SeanMcClendon.com/subscribe.